Good evening, everyone. Hope you're all feeling fine this Monday. Just waiting a little bit for Lionel and Gabe to, and we can start our weekly podcast. Let's just hope that we don't have any technical issues, and hopefully they'll be able to join us shortly. Okay, I'm seeing Gabriel is here. Let's see if we can add him. And give it a quick second. Mhm. We also have Lionel here. Let's see if we can add that. Okay. We
Hi there.
have Gabriel.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Tonight is not the party guy from Albufeira who is missing. Let's see if we can add Lionel.
Mhm.
These are
Facebook isn't working as good as before.
unfortunately, we've been having increasingly some
Yeah.
technical issues with this. So they were actually trying to see if by having another person, in this case me, starting the live stream, if we could just sort some of these issues out. But unfortunately, I think it's actually even worse
Yeah.
because it's showing that Lionel is over here. He's being added, but no such luck right now.
I think, well, I tried the first time. I was not able. Then I refreshed, and then I was able to join you.
Yep.
Lionel,
Let's
we
see.
are waiting for you, my friend.
Yeah, I think it's Lionel that is in the party tonight.
Yes, yes, I'm the guy with let's say the fame. But I know
Okay.
everyone likes party.
Of course. Who doesn't? I mean,
I've
we're Portuguese, we're Latinos, so
of
party is
course,
in our
that's what I
blood.
keep saying. We like hanging out, we like moving around.
Let's see if we can add him or not.
Lionel is charging the
I think
Oran.
that Lionel is probably just restarting his phone right now. Sometimes we have to do these things. Nevertheless, I think he will be over here shortly. So in the meantime, I think we can
Yeah.
here we go. Here we go. Do we have Lionel or not? Joining.
Yeah. This looks like the technical issues we had in the 80s.
Now, this kind of reminds me of in the early days of the internet, when the games
Yeah.
online, they were all done using Flash. There was a video game. No, unfortunately, we're not able to get him. Let's see if we can have him over here. Nope. But yeah, there was this game that was very funny, and well, I was a little bit young back then, so I didn't quite get the gist of the joke until quite a few years later. But the game was like, and we remember when the connections were all dial up, so it would take a
Yeah.
long time to load anything, and so the loading screen on the game would say, "So loading, grab a beer and get loaded."
Yes, I
Yeah,
remember even to open just a simple page, it was lots of time, but
yeah,
it was great anyway. I remember when I started using massively, internet. I was sick at home during the big heat wave we had here in 2003 in Europe. And I remember I started using the internet a lot. And I remember I was waiting sometimes 30 seconds, 1 minute, just to open one simple page.
Yep. Okay. So I think that Lionel will be joining us soon. In the meantime, I think we can, well, there we go.
I think finally managed to join.
Okay.
Amazing,
so
man.
Good evening,
after sorting out all these
everybody.
technical issues, good evening.
Yeah, well,
tonight it's me, Sergio, that is going to be the host. As always, we have over here Lionel and from Desirable Portugal and Gabriel from GL Tours, Lisbon and the Algarve, and then the North guy over here with you. So today, and let's dive right into the topic of tonight. We had something planned because, well, we just saw a very interesting article online covering mass tourism and culinary crossroads. And we all know that the gastronomy is one of the highlights of Portugal, and everyone coming over here loves our gastronomy. But this article, and we can actually link it afterwards on the description of this video on the comment section. It's actually a very interesting one because it states that mass tourism is somewhat jeopardizing the culinary heritage that we have over here in Portugal. And so, well, I have a few thoughts about it, but well, let's start hearing by the guy who likes to do a lot of quality control on everything culinary. So I'm going to throw the ball to you, Lionel, and to hear your introductory thoughts. Why do you think that what makes Portugal a good travel destination, particularly regarding the culinary aspect?
Well, good evening, everyone. Sorry about the technical issues, but we are all over here together. And I read the article, quite in detail. And one of the main things that is discussed on the article, first is that a lot of things are being changed from what used to be fresh ingredients or organic ingredients, locally produced ingredients, to industrially produced ingredients, or worse than that, processed ingredients, on behalf of profit and on behalf of the demand. And where does this go? Even some restaurants that have their reputation for having a great cuisine and using a lot of fresh stuff and using authentic stuff, they are being forced to change some of the ingredients by artificially produced things or processed things, because the market is really bringing them at a cheaper price, and it's all about competition. Things to use the organic ingredients, the best ones, the locally sourced ingredients, they will have a cost, and the industry is bringing a lot of cheaper stuff that it's not so healthy. And this is one of the main bases of the article, and I will post the link of the article in the comments just in a minute. And one of the big claims is exactly that. So not just about the identity, it's about a health issue, because Portugal is known for having a very healthy diet. Like it or not, the balance of vegetables, meat, and fish in the Mediterranean-based diet, it's what makes, in general, people in our side to have a little bit of a healthier lifestyle. And one of the things that a lot of people get amazed in our country, we don't see so many people with obese problems, obese issues. You eat so much, your portions are so big. Why don't you have a lot more people with obesity problems? Well, we eat fresh ingredients. It's not just about the hills that we walk up and down, but it's mostly because what we eat is healthy. So having these ingredients being changed in many cases by mass-produced ones or artificial or processed things, it's going to cause a health issue. Then we end up losing the identity, because there's a lot of stuff and there's a lot of dishes being adopted into the cuisine, into the culinary, because there's demand for it. And that happens in major cities. I have a very hard time now. I do love Tocinho as well, Vitor. Yes. But I have hard and harder time to recommend restaurants in downtown Lisbon, by example, okay? Because the majority of them, even if they look different, they are becoming like a chain. They are being bought by some corporations, and even if the names are different, you end up having almost the same old same everywhere, and it's mass-produced stuff. So the fresh cuisine, the fresh ingredients, they are really not so tocinho do céu. Okay, I like that as well. But they are in fact getting to the same old same, and it's getting harder and harder to recommend nice restaurants. That's why in certain cases, I try to keep my secrets here and there. In Lisbon, I've been doing a lot of quality control, some places in the downtown, but mostly not in the downtown. I've been testing a lot of really nice restaurants around, or the places where the locals go and they are really packed and busy. But in fact, this is an issue. So we tendentially will go to a situation that you walk down the street and pretty much you might have, or you might end up with the restaurants even having all the same pictures, because they end up belonging to same kind of owner, same kind of corporation, and they just change the name, but they serve all the same thing. And when it's in behalf of profit, you know that every possible shortcut, every possible cut that they can make on the expenses, they will do. So this is something that might change in the biggest cities in general. Our culinary identity very shortly, and in fact, the article appeals quite a lot to the authorities to take some measures about that. Nevertheless, if you go inland, if you go to smaller towns, you still find some hidden gems. But once again, if there starts to have some lack of good ingredients in the market, things start to get more processed, more artificial, or on behalf of profit, and to keep up the business running, they need to cut the quality of the ingredients to have something a little bit lower end put on the menu. That might affect our identity as well. So the article, it's an interesting read, and it really triggers some concerns about this. But I'm going to send it back to you, Sergio, just because I know that you are also into some culinary experiences, and you even have the contact with some cooking experiences with chefs, and so. I would love to hear your thoughts about this, because you might have something to say about this as well. Meanwhile,
Yep.
I'm going to post the link for the article.
Yep. So thank you for your insights, and yeah, definitely, there's quite a few things that we've been seeing here and there. But let me preface this by just saying that it's not all necessarily bad. Obviously, when we're traveling to a different country, and most people they want to immerse themselves in the culture of the country that they're visiting, or the region, etc. No, it doesn't matter where you go. For example, even for me as a Portuguese, if I go down south to the Algarve, or if I go to Alentejo, I want to eat the typical things that are done over there. For example, if I go to Ever, I absolutely love to treat myself to a little bit of pão de rala, fantastic dessert. If I go down to the Algarve and I sit to a table next to Gabriel, I'm probably gonna have some octopus, some fresh fish, or something like that, because it's typical, it's fresh, and that's what we like. At the Douro Valley, well, things tend to be a little bit more different, and you're right, I do have this partnership with some local chefs. And the chef that I have a partnership with, he likes to do things that are local and that are seasonal. His goal is to respect the location, respect the traditions. And when enrolling in this cooking class, we're always trying to do something that is according to the season, and that is also typical of the region that we're in. We now offer the cooking class both at the Douro Valley as well as in Porto. When in Porto, we do something that is more seafood oriented, more fish oriented,
Mhm.
because we have the proximity to the sea, and we actually don't go to the Bulhão market. We'd rather go to the Matosinhos market, which is far more authentic. And if you're aiming to purchase some fish, that's the best place to go. We actually go not to the market for our vegetables, but we actually go to a grower that exists just nearby, really close to Matosinhos as well. He has I don't know how many acres of land, but it's a lot. And one of the things that we like to do is to take people over there. They will just roam around the fields, and it's going to be a guided exploration of the field, but they can see what's growing on the field, and the things that are ripe and that they prefer to cook, we will actually just take them out of the ground and bring it with us. So it doesn't get any fresher than this. And this is the core of the Portuguese gastronomy. The chef also likes to use an ingredient in his dishes, which is cuscuz de vinhais. And he told us this is his way of supporting a very local producer, because there is just this one lady that is producing this ingredient, the cuscuz of vinhais. And once the lady passes, it's gonna be lost. And so
Mhm.
we are having quite a few examples of these things happening a little bit throughout the country. I can even tell how many dishes we're losing on a yearly basis, or ingredients that we're losing on a yearly basis, just because the tradition of making said dishes and said ingredients is getting a little bit lost. And so enrolling into cooking classes, it's one of the ways to preserve the cultural and the gastronomic heritage of a place and of a country. And I would say it's a far more sustainable way of visiting a country and to explore it. You can actually do other things, like, for example, take a food tour. Cooking classes are very good options. Go to what we call the tascas, for example. Those
Oh
are
yeah.
the typical restaurants. It's not necessarily the Michelin star type of restaurant. In fact, it's the quite the opposite. So you have the Michelin restaurant at one end of the spectrum. The tasca is going to be the other end of the spectrum. Avoid the places that are a little bit more flashy, that are immediately over there. Sometimes, because of convenience sake, they sacrifice a little bit on the quality and on the tradition. We were just talking about this earlier, and it immediately comes to mind. For example, in Porto, in the Ribeira area, there's the line of restaurants that are facing the water, that are facing the river, which are substantially overpriced. And I usually recommend people don't go to that first line, go to the back streets, because those streets, you're not paying for the view, but you're actually paying
Mhm.
and enjoying the food. And you have smaller places that only have something like 5 or 6 tables. Those are going to be far more authentic. So these are just some of the insights. And we do have a very rich uh, gastronomy. Some of the things that are more common to see over here, for example, the bacalhau, the pastel de nata, caldo verde, sardines, regional wines. There's a lot of things to explore throughout the country, and each place, each region is going to be slightly different. And gastronomy is actually one of the hallmarks of Portugal. I've been hearing this a lot from, particularly from people traveling from the US. When they arrive over here, they say that everything just tastes better. And the reason why it tastes better is because we try to be more organic. We try to use fresh ingredients. And the chef that I have a partnership with, he typically says there's no secret to what I do. There's only two things that you need to take into consideration. Use fresh ingredients and
Mhm.
cook with your heart. That's it. Cook with, prepare your food with some love. If you put some love into your food, the dish is going to come out fantastic. If you use fresh ingredients, all the better. So that's pretty much what there is. And by adopting seasonal products, things that are in season at the moment that you're consuming them, that you're eating them, that's actually one of the things that allows us to have a very diversified diet. And also, as you were saying, Lionel, it also prevents a lot of the health issues that could potentially arise precisely because of this diversity in our diet. It's not overly processed. It's not anything that we would just cram full of additives and whatnot. And this is the risk. This is what we're risking losing when we're starting to put some pressure into the restaurants and into the our local gastronomy. And the restaurants, to meet the demand, sometimes they have to turn to cheaper alternatives and sometimes not so healthy alternatives. And this is the big risk of losing this key piece of our Portuguese culinary identity.
You
So
know,
I've been,
just,
go ahead.
let me just interrupt you. Sorry, you reminded me of an episode that I had last week or 2 weeks ago. I think it was last week. I went for lunch with Beatriz, my assistant, in a small spot in Lisbon, in the area of Lumiar. So it's a neighborhood that no one hears about. But well, having the office not too far away, we went. We've been doing some research on small restaurants, and we ended up going for one that at the entrance had a sign saying, "Well, we are sorry to inform our customers, but due to the cost of the goods, we are obliged to increase our daily menu for 15 euros, everything included." And we went there. It's a place that has probably 5 or 6 tables, an old gentleman, and there were only 2 dishes in the menu. Okay, and imagine that we had, well, a full meal of bacalhau alagareiro for 15 euros. Okay, with dessert, with bread, olives, beverage, a great dish of grilled cod. Okay, and for 15 euros. So if you think that, well, the prices that the cod is reaching now in the market, you really understand that to have something considerably good in the restaurant, you need to, well, cut somewhere, or you need to be, well, very honest and tell people, well, sorry, but we are obliged to increase the prices, okay? Because for what we got and for the quality of the food, because it was a very good piece of cod and very well cooked, and with everything around, it's impossible to take profit in such a business, okay? So that is one of those little places that probably exists for, well, decades, and they are feeling the pressure. And I remember 2 years ago, I wrote one of the articles on the Travel Portugal group about the restaurants that were closing and about the hype of fancy restaurants or trendy restaurants that are killing all the others around. Well, this is another wake up call. This is another alert sign that something needs to be done to save our heritage, to save our culinary, but also to save our traditional restaurants and the businesses. So this is something that it's still going on. So that's why when I see people going crazy about booking certain kind of restaurants that, well, they book 6 months ahead, or they get mad because they didn't get, well, a spot on the hyped place, it's total nonsense, sorry to say, because they are just missing out what is the true essence of this country. And I'm always challenging myself to find new places, and I try to bring people to new places where they experience the real food. But well, it's a hard task to change all this kind of well, mindset, or to create this awareness that trendy spots or well, overhyped places, probably they are not really authentic, or on behalf of business they are cutting here and there, and because they know they will make business anyway, and it's all about profit. And people end up missing out what is the real deal of the Portuguese cuisine. So just my 2 cents about this. And yes, that just happened to me, well, not too far ago. But please go ahead.
So let's hear a little bit from Gabriel now. We've been hogging the microphone up until now.
Yes.
And I want to hear Gabriel because, well, I've had the opportunity to do a tour with him almost a year and a half ago. And he took us to amazing markets to try things that we wouldn't even imagine, like a carob sweet.
Mhm.
He took
Yeah.
us to fantastic restaurants as well. And he has quite a few up his sleeve. So
Yes.
what do you feel? What people tell you about the Portuguese gastronomy, about
Wow.
the food that they try with you, the markets that they visit with you,
It's
and what is the main takeaway for them?
It's very easy because today we went through all these experiences. We went to Lole Market, we tried carob, then we went to a very nice Portuguese restaurant where they serve the small portions, so petiscos, uh, commonly known as tapas. And it's funny because before we went to a cafe, a very classic cafe in Lole from 1929 with these homemade pastries, the real good cakes, and a very nice coffee from Brazil and from Colombia. And they were asking me because they are staying in Lagos, and they notice Lagos, it's very touristy, just like Albufeira, just like Carveira, just some other spots. It doesn't mean these spots they are not amazing. It doesn't mean you can find local restaurants in Albufeira or Lagos or Carveiro or Praia da Rocha, but it's hard to find them because they are in the middle of so many other kind of restaurants. And some of them, we have to say this, they are really touristy, tourist traps. But, you know, for instance, today, they asked me, so Gabriel, you know, it's our first time in Europe, and here there are not so many options for coffee. And then I said, something funny, I like to play with people. And then I said, you know what? You should be grateful because nowadays we have way more options. Because 20 years ago, if you would come to the Algarve and order some, or in Portugal, order some Americano with a bit of milk, people would say, what? With a bit of milk? It's a pure nonsense. So the thing is, because we've been working with so many tourists, and the tourists, they bring their own influences, and many times, because they are a bit afraid to try something out of their comfort zone, they order things they are familiar with. So then at some point, also we locals and also many, for instance, expats, investors, they are coming here, they start also having these options to fill up these desires, right? So nowadays it's very easy to find way more options for coffee. I mean, we have the galon, but people they order a latte macchiato or whatever with cream and all these things. So it's funny, and the same goes with the food. Funny because today I had this family and they were, you know, very authentic. Let's say they were, you know, Gabriel, we are not so familiar with this, but we want to try something different. Okay, we didn't try seafood today or fish because, of course, it's just one meal. You can't order 10 different dishes. But we ended up trying something that they never tried. You know, the pork sheets, bochechas de porco. Also the pica-pau with the Portuguese beef, garlic, olive oil, amazing. Also a very nice fresh cheese salad. And the ingredients, the tomato and the greens, they said, Jesus, this is way more tasty than the ones we get there. They didn't give me the feedback about the oranges from our own family farm, but they will give me the feedback. And there was something else. Let me see. Jesus, we got what more? Oh, of course, the flaming chorizo, the choriza. So, and while they were trying this, they said, well, this is the kind of experience we are looking for. But we didn't find this our own. I mean, it's not easy, you know, it's a different country, you know, the cities, they are full of these, oh, the best restaurant, go there, go, you know, like you said, many people, they go always to the same restaurants. Funny because 3-4 days ago, someone canceled a very popular restaurant in Porto and they ended up trying different restaurants and they were very happy with the option. Because what happens is sometimes these places, they become too hyped and the other places were sometimes even better, even more affordable, or at least they can offer the same kind of experience. They don't have enough guests. And then I didn't read the article, but I can see a big transformation here, even here in the Algarve, although the Algarve, it's been touristy since I was born. But for instance, I remember the first McDonald's ever. It opened in 1998 in Albufeira. Now we have McDonald's everywhere, King Burger everywhere, Montaditos. All these fast food chains, they are flooding everywhere. because of course some people, especially the new generations, but not only, people, they feel comfortable, so they come to Portugal. Well, they never heard about a codfish or a octopus or a cuttlefish or razor clams, and they ended up going there also because they think it's more affordable too. But we all know the fast food, if we go there once per month, it's not a big deal, but people with lots of fast food, they are struggling with big problems, starting with obesity, of course, but also diabetes and sugars and whatever. Even today, they live in North Carolina, they were telling me, Gabriel, in America, actually here, if we go to McDonald's, we can also refill the Coca-Cola or Fanta. I mean, so some guys, they can drink like 1 liter of soda. And with all this pressure, actually, we can notice that the gastronomy is still around here, but it's harder to find. I mean, we locals like us, we are guides, we are always looking for these spots. We still have many local restaurants. Even in Albufeira, we have many local restaurants. In Burgao, we have Portuguese restaurants, but the other day I saw someone, we are staying in Burgao, this is just burgers and pizzas. Here we go again. Lack of knowledge, it doesn't mean the places, they don't have good stuff.
Mhm.
The thing is, people, they don't know. And if you don't know, then what sometimes I think it's kind of a funny is people, they talk like experts, or they say, oh, I've been there, I didn't see nothing there, there's nothing good there. Well, there are good spots there, but the tourists many times, I mean, even though they do a nice research or not, sometimes it's hard to find a good spot. Okay, so we work with our guests. We are tour guides. So when people, they come to us, well, they already are open to try local stuff, because if they are hiring a local guide, it means they are open to try good stuff. So, but in general, we are losing a bit we are not losing our gastronomy, but it's getting hard to find here and there. And I noticed lots of changes. Even today, I was telling the guys, they try some of the best cakes, the very good ones, and they tell me, this reminds me my grandmama cakes from the 70s and from the 80s. But now we all know, now we have cupcakes in Portugal. Cupcakes, it's not a traditional to Portugal. Donuts, it's something that came in, I don't know, 20 years ago or so. And we live in a global world, and all these influences coming from abroad, they are coming, and they are changing also here the gastronomy. So I understand that the massive tourism, it's creating an impact, and not always it's positive, but this is something we have to deal with. And I don't believe that the mindset will change, Lionel. I don't think so. Of course, we work, we are, as a tour guides, we're gonna still being ambassadors to our country, to our gastronomy, but the things, they are changing. I noticed this, and they are changing quite fast. Okay, guys, so, well, I think I just had my 2 cents. I would have way more to say, but I think our time, yeah, it's already 4 minutes, but okay, we start a bit
Don't worry.
later.
So I just
Yeah,
want to
but
finish
It's
with
always-
a little bit of a thought
go
over
ahead.
here, because the gastronomy is very important, but the cultural aspect is also a very interesting one to note. And Gabriel, you were talking about the example of the coffee earlier, and one thing kept coming to my mind, because if you notice the coffee culture difference between Portugal and the US, for example, or even Portugal and the rest of Europe, it's already pretty blatant. So I'll ask you this, guys. How do you like to take your coffee? Just coffee to go, or do you want to sit down and take a coffee?
No, we don't take coffees to go. It's an espresso, no sugar, and sit down,
Exactly.
or at
Yep.
the counter, or at the
That's
counter.
it. Or at the counter.
So
Yeah.
even today we talk about this, and they asked me, Gabriel, and then I said, I know it's your first time in Europe, but trust me, living slowly, enjoying more, breathing, this is
Mhm.
the way we should work. And they agree,
Less-
because they said,
less
we
is
live in a
more.
big city. Yes, and then I told them, I remember this, guys, but the things here, they are changing. Recently, it opened in Faro, one cake and coffee to go. And I told them, what the heck is this? Coffee and cake to go? This is a pure nonsense. Please just sit your ass in a table and enjoy the coffee, enjoy the cake, enjoy the sun in the Algarve. I mean, we are losing a bit of this culture. I mean, we are not losing because many people, this is exactly what they want to do. But, you know, there's lots of pressure. We have lots of people coming, you know, they have this high speed. They come from New York and they can't even sit there. They don't even understand how good is sitting, enjoying people walking around, drinking coffee and talk a bit. The new generations, and with all this technology we have now, it's really hard to slow down. But we need this. Otherwise, if we don't do this, if we don't slow down, then we go to a pharmacy buying, I don't know, Xanax and all this kind of stuff because, oh, you know, doctor, my heart doesn't stop. We need to slow down. But this is a big wave coming, and I know it's going to be very hard to stop this. But we keep doing our best. Well, that's why so many people they are coming to visit us, because they know here they can slow down and they can enjoy good coffee, good food, and well, and they have some good pals here that we try to, let's say, teach them to.
Well, I think we just lost Gabriel over here.
So let's use our wisely.
It's a little bit slowing down, but
okay.
I think it's back.
Okay, I don't know if you heard my last sentence, but I just finished.
I think we got the gist of it. Some words were cut off, but I think we got the meaning.
They were not important.
They are always important.
This is just coffee talk that we're having over here, so
yeah,
it's almost like we're sitting down and having a little bit of coffee and just relaxing for 30 minutes.
Just to finish, what people mostly ask everywhere, we want to go where the locals go. We want to eat like the locals. We want to do stuff like the locals, but they end up all being shifted or driven to the same old same places. And if someone recommends a place that you never heard about, okay, someone local, someone trusty, someone that lives here for decades, okay, not someone that just was here once, and so if someone recommends a place that you never heard about, probably that is the place to go, because that's probably the hidden gem, because the hidden gems don't come up with their names every day or every hour on the travel.
But you know, Lionel, there's some. Lionel, just to add something. The people mindset. I'm not a psychologist, psychiatric, but I've been working a lot with people. People, they tend to follow the trend no matter what. If they don't ever heard about the place, they don't trust the local. They rather to trust the influencer who've been here 3 or 4 days, because the influencer, the guy is an influencer. He has thousands of followers. This happens. People are very scary to hear something that doesn't resonate with them. I never heard about it, and they don't try. And if we don't try, we lose.
Well, normally, when people take a tour with me, and lunch, it's always a big moment, or at least I try to make it as most as possible to provide them a big moment. I've heard a few people saying this is the best meal we've had over here.
So far.
This meal is even better than the one we got in restaurant A or B that it's a trendy name. But I just take them to places where I take my friends, and I tell them I've been here with my friends. I've been here a few times. I've been here with family. So this is what I want to share with you, okay? Because otherwise it would be great to go with them where everybody goes. And I'm just gonna drop here something, and for people that are watching, or for people that will watch this in the future, if the restaurant you go, or the restaurant that someone is recommending you, and you go on a tour, has plenty of tour vehicles at the door, okay? The tour vehicles, normally tour vans, are easily to spot. That sometimes doesn't mean that it's truly authentic, okay? That probably means that it's adapted to serve or to the convenience, to serve a lot of groups, tours, whatever, because pretty much it caters a variety of dishes on the menu, so it's easier for you to choose. Or it might even go a little bit beyond just the food and really involve some other business in it. And unfortunately, some places that we've been discovering, they start get flooded by others. Okay, and of course, they lose a bit the authenticity. But when I see too many people around, too many people just following the trend or copying what I've been doing, it's time to move on. And that's why I'm constantly on the road searching for places. But I see a lot of people praising the meals they have in certain spots, and I just think to myself, I'm sorry, but you just don't know what's going on behind all of that hype. But this is another story, and time is just moving fast. So this was just my final thought for today. And Vitor says he knows some. Yes, I know a few as well, as you know. But just my final thoughts. Okay, if we try to recommend you that little hidden spot, it's because we want you to have a great experience, and it's really because we want people to immerse in the most authentic possible experience. So, I think this summed up a little bit the topic for today. Sergio, Gabriel, I don't know if you have something else to add.
No,
No,
that was pretty much it. I think we conveyed a good message over here. Just be be a bit more aware of your surroundings and try to realize where do people stop, where locals go, and with a little bit of humor. Well, if you see someone just rushing through the street and holding a coffee in the hand, that's probably not a Portuguese person. So if it's around lunchtime, definitely do not follow that person into a restaurant. So yeah, that was pretty much it. Gabriel, anything else to add?
No, we would have lots of more things to talk about it, but the time is gone, and I think we already sent a nice message, and I think from my end, it's everything for tonight too. I need to go for some food. I need to get some food.
And I think I need to get some sleep now.
Yeah, exactly.
So guys, as always, it's a pleasure.
Tomorrow again, sir.
I wish everyone, I wish you too, and everyone listening to us, very nice
Bye bye, guys.
And hope to see you again next week.
Thank you. See you next week.
We'll be back.
Have a great one.
See you guys. Bye bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.